Hello, I am Nika Harper, and this is a story that I wrote. It's in kind of a sci-fi universe, and it is called, Is Anyone There? How many days do you have left? Lonely, you're not supposed to ask. I was kind, but I had been sneaking glances at that number for days. Just a tiny, uninterrupted 5. Always a reminder. I know, but mine says 4, but it said that yesterday too. Maybe you're fuel efficient. Are you saying I'm not working hard? We know you work hard, Lonely. She was scared, and she had a right to be. We all did. Fuel was all we needed, and the only thing we couldn't get. The radio buzzed in our ear. Foreman Rarian asking for another status report, as though gravity had upended itself in the past 5 minutes. I turned on the dial, and so did Lanley. It was beautiful. That much was true. Getting stranded on an empty planet could look a lot worse than this. Our arms brushed as we headed towards a towering forest canopy. You know, she started, one thing I've noticed, it's so quiet here. She stopped to illustrate her point. Her golden eyes met the sky, and all I could hear was my breathing and the sound of the wind in the leaves. It was like a gentle rustle and hum of greenery. You could almost hear the grass exhale. It's silent. I smiled at her. I hope I looked reassuring. She wasn't looking. But something's odd about it. We've lived in a city all our lives, haven't we? It's more than that, Nora. Shouldn't there be something? We walked, ears waiting for the sound of anything but dirt and air. Like bugs or an animal or something. She squinted at the treetops as though hoping they would prove her wrong. There was nothing, just the lovely fresh air. My lungs hadn't been this spoiled in years. The foliage underfoot grew tricky and thicker around us. I got a gear stuck with a curse and ripped my foot free as Lonely soldered off a hanging branch. It fell to the ground with a whoomph, and then silence. No creatures to react to it. How long till sundown, do you think? I asked, finding any reason to break the silence. Lonely felt distant. Like the world was moving between us. Does it even get dark here? It was dark last night. For a few hours, I guess. There are 3 suns. She cut through another low-hanging jungle vine. It fell with a resigned flop. Are they actually suns? What if one is a close star? Suns are just stars. She looked back at me, the leaves dappling her armor, and held her hand up to me, claw clasping the vine she had cut. It oozed and squelched in a grip. Sample bag, you think? Worth collecting. I forced the unruly vine into the sack, surprised at its weight and tenacity. Like it had a spine in there somewhere. The radio buzzed, a message from the captains, making better progress than ever and giving us all thanks, as though diligence is the reason that anyone would trudge through a humid jungle when fraught with exhaustion, not because we have no choice. The radio faded out, the crackle and hiss ending with a long whistle and chirp. Our eyes snapped to one another. Could it be? A bird? Lonely asked, and looked towards the canopies again. Another nearby squawk, and we saw it. A dull blue creature flapping, barely visible between the thick netting of vines. Is it stuck? I asked, but another blue animal peeked out, flapping in kind. I guess they just live up there, she shrugged. The second sound was stranger. It was so loud and so close, we nearly stepped on it. In the tangle of ropey foliage that netted the ground, we saw it, pale and grasping. A tiny, outstretched hand. The creature unusual and unrecognizable. It peered over through the overgrowth, pinned to the damp floor, desperation obvious in its panicked eyes. The bluebirds up the tree shrieked, caged just the same. I could hear Lonley's breath in my helmet. She had turned on her direct link. We were together, in each other's heads, but we had nothing to say. The radio crackled in our ear, an alert from the crash site. I only half listened. The captains were asking everyone to return to base. There's a chance the plants are alive and hostile. I looked at the tiny outstretched hand within the vine netting. Somehow, we had already discovered that. Thank you so much for listening. I've never really done a lot of sci-fi-esque stuff before, so this was really new and different for me, and I had a lot of fun with it. Of course, you can read along with it on my Tumblr, which is nikaharper.tumblr.com. Of course, this is thanks to the people who are supporting me on Patreon. You guys help me so much, and I wouldn't be doing these kind of videos without you. At least I don't think that I would. So I guess I owe it all to you. Thank you so much for listening.